Greetings, peace be with you. So in this video, you are going to discover the 5-step process on how to activate your inner alpha. And make sure to stick to the very end of this video because step number 5 could be the missing key that will unlock your ability to enter the strong, grounded, and capable version of yourself. Now, if you have been following the previous videos on this channel, you know that today is the launch of the Monk Mode Challenge. So you can open up a new tab in your browser window, go to monkmodechallenge.com and join us on this 30-day journey of self-illumination whereby we are coming together as a community to level up on our mental, physical, and spiritual evolution. I'm literally giving you the execution plans daily that will allow you to put knowledge into practice, that will allow you to go from theory to practice, and by the end of 30 days, hopefully go from practice to a momentum that carries on towards mastery. Okay, so you can, like I said, open up a new tab in your browser window, go to monkmodechallenge.com or click the link below in the description. I will also leave it out in the comments. So for today's video, the 5 steps on how to activate your inner alpha. Right? What does that even mean? Because when I got started on my journey of masculine development, of spiritual growth, of personal improvement, my perception of an alpha male was someone who was dominating others, who exerted status over others, who controlled others, right? These are the common conceptions that were picked up by me through my perception of society, right? I did not have any strong masculine role models in my life, and thereby I picked it up from these common conceptions of, like kind of like a bully is what I thought I had to be in order to be a strong and grounded man. And that is when I came across some red pill philosophy online as well on Reddit. I remember I was pretty active on the subreddit over there as well. And it's great, okay? I definitely believe that every man has to have an awareness of red pill philosophy about psychology, about female and male dynamics, about social dynamics in general and what's going on. But with me, I went too much on one end of the spectrum. I became like a surgical engineer of red pill philosophy. I was like, okay, this guy looked at me in this certain way, so that means that he's trying to exert status over me, and now I have to say this particular thing to that particular person so that they can do that. I was way too deep in it, right? So through the immature person that I was looking at this philosophy, I just got lost in the sauce, like I said, right? I was too much into it, and I knew that this is not the path for me, because on one side, internally, I knew I had these values of being kind, of being compassionate, of being of service to other people, of having other people's interests best at heart. But then when I read this philosophy, I thought it was all about manipulation and control and exerting status and dominating other people. And I read 48 Laws of Power, which was like the #1 recommended book on the subreddit of the red pill. And that just messed up my perception, right? Because again, my decisions were still out of alignment with my values. And then I actually went and got a blood test done and came back that my testosterone levels were actually closer to the average for a man, more than twice my age. So here I was apparently in the prime of my youth, and physiologically, right, psychologically, on every level, testosterone is the driving force of masculinity. And here I was with objective proof that I was not living up to the standard that is actually optimal, right? Which is what I strive for. And this is not a surprise because there is so many powers that be, whether it's the big pharma, whether it's the big food, whether it's the pornography, whether it's the, agendas out there that are focused on destroying masculinity. And I was a victim of them. And so many men can relate to that as well. Right? So I knew that something had to change, because here I was in my early 20s having to realize that, okay, my T levels are so low, and if I don't make this change right now, they're only going to go lower. So that was a moment where I knew that something had to change, not just the way I treated other people and the games that I played and the psychological tactics, but physiologically, my habits, my behaviors with what I eat, what I move, what I sleep, all of this had to change, right? So luckily enough, around that time, as I began making the changes in my behaviors through working out, through cleaning up my diet, getting an awareness on nutrition, right, making these lifestyle practices, like I shared before as well, I came across the philosophy of stoicism. I read the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, which were basically the emperor of Rome writing notes to himself as he's battling the Germanic tribes. And this is what really opened my eyes up to the essence of masculinity. Because in Meditations of Marcus Aurelius writes to himself that, anger, rage, these are not manly characteristics. These are a resistance to the fundamental nature of reality, right? When we get angry, when we get rage, we are resisting what is, and therefore we are exerting our energy towards what we do not have control over, which is what is. Therefore, we have less energy left over to control what can be, which is the future that we can create through dictating our behaviors in the moment. And through reading all of these Stoic philosophy books, it was like, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and then Ryan Holiday coming out with a lot of stuff as well. And the essence of masculinity, if you ask the ancient Stoics, what does it mean to be a man? It means to live with virtue. In fact, in Latin, virtue literally translates to manliness. And that is when I realized that being a man is not about dominance and exerting status over other people and controlling and manipulating other people and playing power games with other people. I realized that it really comes down to the core essence of living with virtue. So what is virtue? Again, it comes down to the values, right? In common translation, it's values. And there are 4 cardinal virtues in the Stoic philosophy that they believed are cardinal, right? Essential, like I said. So the first one is really wisdom, right? Knowledge for life. It's important to know what game we are playing, because we are all playing a game, and whether that game is of our choosing, that is when we become conscious creators. But if that game is not of our choosing, that is when we are giving in unconsciously to agenda and programming and conditioning that is outside of us. Okay? Now, Aristotle said that the summum bonum, right? The highest human good is eudaimonia. What does this literally mean? It comes from 2 Latin words, eu meaning good and daimon meaning soul. Eudaimonia is about living on good terms with your inner daimon, with your inner soul, right? The most important thing is how you feel about yourself when you are by yourself, right? Having the wisdom to know the game that we're playing. The game, like I shared in a previous video as well, is to close the gap between who we are and who we are capable of being moment to moment to moment. And that is a never-ending game of perpetual growth and improvement, right? Because the more that we are, the more that we can be. The more that we can be, the more we have yet to become. And that is the game that we're playing. To understand the game is not about what he's doing or what they're doing or what someone else is doing, because I got caught up in that cycle for a long time, comparing my progress to someone else, and I still do, right? I still find myself sometimes getting sucked into other people's social media highlight reel and seeing, oh, this person is doing that, or this person has that many followers, I should have more, right? But that is the moment for me to get back in my space and realize that, am I better than who I was yesterday? Am I better than who I was a year ago? And looking at the progress over there really allows me to get focused on the game that I'm playing, which is to level up on my personal development and develop a good relationship with my higher self, which really is how I feel about myself when I'm by myself, right? Which is really keeping commitments and following through with them, right? Now, the second cardinal virtue is that of temperance, right? Self-mastery. So once you know that this is the game that we're playing, are you actually disciplined enough to match your actions with the higher self, right? Every single moment we have an opportunity, which is to step forward into growth or backwards into comfort. And temperance, self-mastery, self-discipline is about making that choice to step forward into growth, to step forward into discomfort, right? Even when it feels good to be over here, we know that being in our comfort zone does not allow us to grow. And we came here to grow. That is our fundamental purpose, right? To grow, to become who we can be and more, right? And self-mastery, temperance is our ability to follow through with that through our behaviors. Now, the next one is justice, right? Justice can be thought of as integrity, which can be thought of as coherence, right? When what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony, then you will find inner peace, said Gandhi, right? So justice is really about matching your words with your behaviors. It's about matching what you think, what you say, and what you do so that you are living in integrity, right? Because so many times I've noticed in my previous journey, I might have said one thing and then I did another, and then that would only destroy my well-being as well, right? I would make a commitment to someone, I wouldn't live up to it, and that would just eat me up alive. In fact, that happened recently. I had a commitment with someone and then something unexpected came up, and then yeah, sure, it's bad for him, but I just remember how I felt not keeping those commitments to someone else, because everyone else is like a reflection of us, and then when we don't keep commitments to someone else, it's like we're not keeping commitments to ourselves. And when I really shine that awareness on myself, I realized that there are aspects of myself that need improvement, right? And that is exactly why I'm so excited for the Monk Mode Challenge coming up as well, because I will be going through this challenge with you as well if you decide to join, right? Now, the fourth cardinal virtue is that of, what is it? You know what it is? So it's wisdom, because I just forgot right now. So it's wisdom, it's temperance, self-mastery, it's justice, and then it is fortitude, right? Which is courage, right? Courage is coming from the Latin root for heart. And just like the heart vitalizes all the other organs, courage is the virtue that vitalizes all the other virtues, right? It is about feeling the fear, which we all feel, right? Marcus Aurelius writing notes to himself, he feels those negative emotions as well, right? It's not because they're you, it's because you're human that you're experiencing this. But it's about feeling the fear and acting anyway, right? Not like just being fearless, because we all feel that fear, but it's about acting in spite of how you feel, acting in alignment with our values regardless of how we feel in the moment, right? And those four virtues are really what, for me at this point, looking back, are the key to activating our inner alpha, right? How can we live in harmony with these virtues, right? Knowing the game that we're playing on a moment-to-moment basis, having that top of mind, right? Mastering our appetites, mastering our destructive behaviors, mastering ourselves so that we can follow through with those behaviors again and again and again, right? Living in integrity with what we think, what we say, and what we do, and then having the courage to make those decisions that need to be made, that we know in our heart of hearts need to be made again and again and again. That is the core of masculinity. That is the core of activating your inner alpha. And that is the core of living a life with virtue. Now, those are the four steps, right? Cultivating those virtues. But the fifth step, like I said, which could be the most important step for you, is that of entering a community where the desired behavior is normal. Okay? You've read the quotes on Instagram. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Show me your friends and show me your future. So really ask yourself this question right now. You have a vision of where you want to be in the future. Do the people that you spend time with right now support that vision? Do they move you towards that vision or not? Right? You know in your heart of hearts what the right answer is. Because for me, starting off on my journey, it was very difficult to get around the people that had the similar values for me, right? And it wasn't until I did that I actually began making consistent progress in my life. That I actually consistently began cultivating these virtues in my life, because that was the normal, right? It's not normal to live up as an embodiment of virtue, right? When you make these decisions, when you're in this personal growth journey, that's actually abnormal, because a very small segment of people are actually choosing education over entertainment. There are a very small portion of people that are actually choosing growth over comfort, right? Comfort is the worst addiction. So getting around a community of people for whom the desired behavior is natural will definitely facilitate your ability to follow through with it as well. Okay, and that is exactly why I've created the Monk Mode Challenge, to create this movement, to create this community whereby we can come together and hold each other to a higher standard on following through with these daily missions and cultivating these virtues on a day-to-day basis. So like I said, you can click the link below in the description, or you can open up a new tab in your browser window, go to monkmodechallenge.com and get into the program. Okay, I would love to work with you over there. We are open till, I believe, Sunday midnight it is, because we will all be going through the challenge together this Monday. So if this is something that you know you need to do, click the link below, get in right now. Do not waste any time and become the man that you are capable of being. Okay, begin taking the steps towards true transformation in your life. Rather than just consuming more and more information, actually choose to enroll in this program so that you can start implementing consistently, predictably, and get into a community that holds you to that higher standard. Okay, so with that, I conclude this video. I hope that you got value from it. Either way, whether you decide to join the challenge or not, these 4 virtues are what we all must work on cultivating in order to enter our personal power and purpose as men. Okay, so I will leave you in the peace and power of the one infinite creator, and I will catch you in the next video. Much love to you. Take care.